go back. Yeah. And in the course website, you go to section 5.1. So click on the first one. Okay. So can Cassandra, you can read it loud if you don't mind.
Okay. Is that on the way? Business meeting, arriving late and missed opportunity. Marco and Steffi agreed to meet each other for an important meeting at 10:30 on Monday morning. They are both busy people, but sometimes they are late for their meetings.
It doesn't happen to us, right? We're all on time always.
Each of them will wait for 5 minutes once they arrive. And if the other person does not show up, they will leave. To make it easy, let us assume that both of them are equally likely to be late and are equally likely to arrive at any time between 10:30 and 10:45 a.m. What is the probability that they will end up meeting?
Okay, first let's start with a simple question. Is the question clear? So I will ask someone to explain the question. Vanshika, can you explain this question? What is it? What are we asking?
Okay, so the question says that Marco and Steffi have to meet up at 10:30 on a Monday morning, and each of them would be waiting for 5 minutes for the other person, and if they don't arrive, then they leave the place.
Yes.
So, and it is assumed that both of them are equally likely to get late and be arriving on time. So, what is the probability that they will meet between 10:30 and 10:45?
So will they surely meet or not?
I think that they might meet. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Interesting, right? Simple problem. It's almost like a real life problem. It possibly happens to us, right? Yeah. So how will we find out are they likely to meet and how likely are they to meet? And also I want us to be able to ask questions. For example, if Steffi wants to be a little bit more patient and she waits for 7 minutes instead of 5 minutes, right? Does it make how much more likely is it? Waiting another couple of minutes, does it improve the chance of meeting, right? So we need some kind of model. We need to be able to calculate something, etc. But before we calculate anything, does anyone know how to solve this problem? Is this it seems like a real world problem, right? You're trying to meet someone, you go there, maybe you're 2 minutes late, and then you're trying to decide how much time to wait. So what do you do normally when this happens? Just pick a number and leave after that?
Try to. But I also wonder why it doesn't just say there's a half and half chance they might make it or not. It also tells us
what is half and half?
Window of time. So that's interesting.
No. So okay, what is half and half though?
Oh, that it doesn't just say either they make it 5.
No, it says that they're most likely to show up within 15 minutes. I mean, they mean to go to the meeting, right? But they can be late up to 15 minutes, right? Between 10:30 and 10:40. But we don't know exactly where they're going to show up. But the idea is that if one person showed up promptly at 10 o'clock, the other person showed up, 10 minutes late, they're going to miss each other, right? And if another guy showed up at the last minute and one guy showed up 5 minutes late, they can miss each other. Right, so there are many configurations where they can miss each other. I mean, okay, so let's ask a silly question. How can we make sure that 100% chance of meeting? That's something you can process, okay? But anyway, so let's do a simulation for this. Do you think, since we have discussed the problem, anybody knows enough probability to calculate this or not? So those who have studied probability, by the way, this will go into my introduction to mathematics for data science question. Right? Those who have studied probability, this is why we study probability, so we can actually calculate this. But even if you know probability, it's not an obvious, easy calculation, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually have the computer generate different examples of what happens to these people. And then we're going to see if they end up meeting or not. Then we're going to calculate an average on that data, and that's going to give us the probabilities. Okay, so let's switch to our lab, and let's go to, there's a file called simulate meetings. Okay, and simulate meetings has two functions. So our job is, so can we look at the parameters first of this function and see if we understand what are the parameters? Does it make sense? Cassandra, can you just check the parameters?
Yeah, so we have Steffi wait time.
Yeah, that would be in this example. We said, how long is Steffi going to wait right now?
5.
5 minutes. Steffi and Marco in this example are 5 and 5. Yes?
Same.
Yes. And the window of arrival is 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? 10:30 to 10:45. Okay. So we have these three numbers. Can we actually generate? So let's do it manually first. Can we generate, just let's call it, I don't know, Steffi arrival time. Put underscores between different words. Okay. Steffi underscore arrival time. All lowercase. Sorry, the name is long. If you want to make it short, you can just say Steffi arrival. Take off time. Keep it short if you want. Steffi arrival equals, and put a number. So one thing we can do is you can do 10:30 blah blah blah, but you can also just say it's a real number from 0 to 30, right? Who cares that it starts at 10? We just take the 30-minute window. Yes.
Oh. Okay.
So you can say she arrives at 10. If you say 10 means it's the 10th minute in the window. Yes. We should really do this in seconds. Just an approximation for us. You can do it in seconds, and you can allow it to be continuous. Later you can do discrete variables and so on. Okay. I actually did it with continuous variables because it can be any number. So in other words, I'm saying if you measure it can be any number between 0 and 30. Right? 0 and 30. So
I have a question here.
Yes.
So actually the window in which they arrive would be 10:30 to 10:45 as mentioned in the question.
Correct.
Why
Correct.
are we taking 30 minutes?
No. 30 minutes is the whole period. Sorry, we're going to decide this. So it's correct. Technically, there's a window of 30 minutes in which they could arrive because the meeting is from 10 to 10:30. But we said the window of arrival time right now is 15 minutes.
I'm sorry. I thought the meeting is at 10:30.
10:30 to 11? Sorry, I don't even remember.
Okay.
10:30, yes. Sorry, I keep saying 10. Yes.
Okay.
So they could arrive anytime between 10 and 10:30 and 11. They could arrive anytime there, right? Once they pass the meeting time, it's not even useful. But we have said 15 minutes. So really the window is 15 minutes, right? I've said they're sure to arrive. So we should pick a number between 0 and 15 to represent the arrival time. So you could pick 10, for example. Okay, and then Marco arrival. So later we will make these random numbers, yes? For now, the one way to deal with random numbers is to actually use ordinary numbers first. So we can write the code and then we can make it random, right? And then the program will be written. So pick a number for random. So we are being the random number generator. We're doing one example. So pick one number.
What?
Yeah, you got it. So now, how do we now calculate if they're going to meet or not?
Well, if both of them are equal to or less than 5, yes.
Yeah. So let's write it. Write an if statement first. Now this if statement, unfortunately, is going to be tricky. So of course you need more time to solve it, but because you have to do it in class, I'm going to help you a little bit with the if statement. You don't need a double indent.
No.
One tab is good. Yeah, one tab is good.
What? It wasn't lining up. Okay.
Yeah. Always make one tab. Yes. Now let's do an if statement, and I'm going to tell you a trick here. It's always better. Well, okay, try to write the if statement. Then I'll see if I can help you. All of you can work on this together. What's the if statement?
I can do it.
So the if statement should be if Steffi arrival minus difference Marco arrival
Okay.
is less than equal to 5.
Steffi arrival. Okay, let's do what Kiran is saying, Cassandra. It's not
okay.
Yeah, you can do Steffi arrival minus. No. See, Cassandra, you can't say Steffi arrival less than 5, right?
Equal or less than 5.
Why should it be less than 5? It should be 5 less than Marco's arrival or within 5 of Marco's arrival. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why Kiran was saying you subtract Steffi's arrival time and Marco's arrival time.
Once they arrive, right? Okay, that's why. It's so
Subtract the two.
Okay.
Yeah. See, for example, right now, okay, so let's make your code so that they actually meet. Maybe that's even helpful. Marco arrival is, let's make it 5. So they're going to meet, right? Just on the boundary of meeting. Right? If Steffi arrives 10 minutes late and Marco comes 5 minutes late, they're going to meet, right? Okay, so what is the condition? How do I make it true?
If Steffi arrival time is...
No, Kiran gave the right clue. You subtract Steffi's arrival time and Marco's arrival time.
Minus Marco.
Yeah.
Arrival. Less.
And that has to be less than equal to.
Equal to.
Now you can't say 5 here. It has to be whose wait time is this? So in this example, both Steffi and Marco will wait for 5 minutes, but you have a parameter called Steffi wait time and Marco wait time. So it could have been 7 and 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whose wait time is to be used here? Wait time says how long Steffi will wait for Marco. Marco wait time says how long Marco will wait for Steffi. Who's waiting for whom?
Steffi is waiting for Marco.
Yeah, if Steffi comes later than Marco, she won't see Marco already there.
Oh, Marco's waiting for Steffi.
Okay, so put Marco wait time.
Okay.
Yeah, you see how these small problems, right? They're simple problems, but we have to be like super systematically thinking about it. Okay? Okay. So now I have to ask you a question. Is it possible? Okay, so if this is true, then what happens? Let's just keep a counter here, right? Then they have a successful meeting. So let's keep a counter called successful meetings. No, don't write it then. Just keep a counter outside if. Let's call it outside the if statement. Initialize a variable. Let's create a variable called successful meetings. And we're going to add 1 to this, right? Every time they meet. So yeah, equals 0. So equals 0 right now. Now inside the if statement, we'll do plus equals 1. If they meet, then it's going to be plus equals 1. Make sense? Okay. Now I'm going to ask a trick question. This is kind of looking correct, but what if Steffi's arrival is less than Marco's arrival? Does this work? If Steffi comes first, will it work?
So we'll have to take. Yeah, we'll have to take mod of this.
No, is it a mod question or not?
No, sorry, the magnitude of this. So
no, but first of all, we're using Marco's wait time, right? That is correct if Marco came first. Steffi came first, we have to use Steffi's wait time, yes?
Have to do the other side of the...
Yeah, you have to do the other side. So so now I'm helping you, okay? But I want to share with you, this is where you have to spend a lot of time thinking. So you have to put an AND condition here. So let's do the AND part first. So I'm going to say that in this if statement, I'm going to make sure that Steffi arrives first. Right? I'll take care of the case where Steffi arrives first. So take off the AND here, put the AND in the first part, in the beginning. Delete all this, start in the beginning. And let's make sure that the condition is Steffi arrival time, or sorry, Marco arrival time. No, not yet AND, Sandra, delete. Just write the condition first. Marco arrival time. No, it has to be, yeah, Marco arrival underscore arrival time less than equals. No, less than equals. Marco arrives first. Less than equals Steffi arrival time.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Does everybody agree this is a condition that Marco comes first?
Yes.
First, yes. Now we do an AND. Yes, correct, Siddharth. Yes. So do an and move the other one to the previous line.
So
Yes.
instead of using and over here, why you are not using else statement over here?
No, it's not an else. We need both these things to be true. Then only they will have a successful meeting.
Okay, okay, okay.
right?
Yeah.
If these are
Yes.
both conditions are met, they will have a sure meeting.
Sure meeting. Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Now we have to do one more condition. What happens if Steffi comes first? So just copy this whole thing and flip it, right? Yeah. So now we have to switch Marco and Steffi.